Welcome back to On The Real. This is episode 2 of Getting Out of Debt God's Way. I've titled this episode Facing the Numbers because that's exactly what we're going to do today. Last episode, we owned to the fact of how we drifted. Today, we do the hard work and we look at the numbers. Now, I'll be honest, it's not easy sharing personal finances publicly, but I invited you in on this journey, and I promise transparency. So, here we go. Before we make a plan, we need the full picture because financial freedom starts with the truth. Jesus says in John 8:32, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. He was speaking about himself as the truth, freeing us from the lies of the enemy. And two of the enemy's most effective strategies are distraction and deception. Trying to convince us, and sometimes we fall into the trap, things like we don't need to look closely at our problems, we don't need to do any hard work, or we can deal with this later. Nothing could be further from the truth. Scripture tells us in Proverbs 27:23 to know the conditions of our flocks. We cannot steward what we won't measure. So, I went back through 12 full months of bank statements, all of 2025. Every transaction, every swipe, every small purchase I barely remember making. I didn't estimate, no guesswork, no rounding. I didn't skip a beat. Because I want to be clear, right? Clarity doesn't come from guessing. Now, this took hours. The first time I ever did this, many years ago, when I first got out of debt, it took days. But once the numbers were in front of me, it helped. Something changed, right? They gave me facts. And once you have the facts, you can make smart decisions. Not emotional decisions, practical ones. But here's what surprised me. Then and now, the numbers aren't the problem, right? The mindset is. My mindset was, the math is simple. Addition, subtraction, organizing, labeling. Behavior is harder. My own mindset would say things like, I'll figure it out later. This season is different. I'll catch up. All lies, right? But the numbers don't argue with you. They don't shame you. They don't negotiate. They just tell the truth. And the truth demands a response. Now, there's one other thing that the numbers do. They show us not only what we spend, but they expose our patterns, our habits, and if we're honest, our relationship with money. Now, here's what I mean. If money is a tool, which it should be, telling it what to do is straightforward, right? Because tools exist to serve a purpose. Think of a hammer. But if money is our God, or it's the prize, right? This process of getting out of debt becomes painful. Because when money is a tool, right, we're willing to part with it for a greater goal. Like getting out of debt, saving for a house, whatever your goal is. Freedom, right? Generosity. But when money is about what it can get us, spending becomes the priority. And then when spending is the priority, getting out of debt will always feel like a loss and not a gain. With that said, let's get into the numbers. I will be sharing my screen with you. Okay, so here is 2025. Oh, that's the monthly. Excuse me, I go to the yearly. There's 2025 yearly net income and expenses. So these are the numbers. And I came to these numbers from the bank statements. Right? This is the full picture. I categorized everything. Income, you see it up there, housing, food, auto, film equipment, insurance, debt payments, miscellaneous, video production, everything is labeled. And every category tells a story, right? This is where the financial leaks show up. Not one big mistake, but small decisions repeated throughout. $15 here, $30 there. And over a year, that's hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, right? That's money that could have gone towards my house. That's money that could have gone towards, debt. In the past, let me show you how I got to this number first of all, how I got to this picture. So in the past, I went line by line, right? I would print the bank statements, go line by line on it, highlighting, sorting, and then categorizing and making these categories for expenses, right? That's why it took me days. This time, I downloaded my bank statements into Excel, right? Now, you can see there's nothing fancy here. Excel is not fancy. In fact, this is not a tutorial on how to use Excel. I had to even go to YouTube to find out how to do this. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Bank statements. There are two here. There's Mari's, my wife, and my bank statement. I'm only showing you mine. I just realized I told you there's two statements. One is for my wife, and I'm only showing you mine. Let me just say this. My wife and I, we're one, right? We may have separate accounts, but we have one budget, one mission, one responsibility. Now, this is about our money, our decisions, and our future, right? We have one account that goes, that is dedicated to paying all the expenses and debts. Automatically set it and forget it. Anything. Anyway, with that said, let me show you. The reason I did this is because it was quicker than what I'm used to doing. It let me search and sort quickly. I could see patterns instantly, right? There are apps like Every Dollar, Mint, that help do this. Like, you can link it to your bank account and it will download your bank statements and every transaction, and you can categorize each item, and it automatically puts everything that is downloaded into that category that is similar. They say Wendy's, you click it under, you categorize it under food or dining out, and every transaction from that moment forward will be automatically placed into that category. But they only work from the moment you begin and forward. So if you wanted to see the full picture like I wanted to see, I wanted to see the full picture for 2025. That these apps, they don't go backwards, they only go forward. So I wanted to go backwards to see the truth of the past year. Let me show you, give you a quick example of what I'm talking about when I say I can categorize everything quickly just by sorting it for the year. So for instance, let me go back to here. If I wanted to see what my income was for the year, I come in here in this drop down menu, click in where it says text filters, type in Beacon, which is the company that I work with or for. I get direct deposits, so everything gets directly deposited into my account. So once I click here, you see each and every one of my paychecks for the year. So here's January all the way down to December, totaling out to $33,751. Now there's other income from other sources that is not Beacon, and the way I could get to that is click down here, and I kind of see this window here, and I could just check the box for that line. And there's a lot of lines here. I can't see it here. Oh, here they are, two. These two. Click OK. Now it gives me the full picture. Now this $37,812. That's the full picture for the net income for 2025. Now then, if I go over here to the yearly breakdown, back to the yearly breakdown, you see it right here, $31,411. My wife's income, and then income 3, that's from other sources. So the total net income, $83,000. That may be a lot, that may be a little for some, but that's our reality, right? Now, if I need to make margin and I couldn't cut on some of the expenses to create that margin, to attack that debt, then maybe I'll have to get a second job or do some odd jobs or sell some things. More of that later. But the purpose of looking at the full picture, the purpose for doing all of this, going through my whole 2025 income and expenses and finding the full picture is to identify the leaks. What needs to be adjusted so that I can attack this debt? When I saw the totals, here, let me show you. For subscriptions, like, where is it? Like subscriptions, $993 for the year. Eating out, $4,000 for the year. ATM fees, just to take out my own money, $912 for the year, right? Equipment, how much I spent on equipment, $7,000 for the year. That included the equipment, software, subscription, and a class. The class, I do not regret. But these are leaks, right? And when I saw this, it was sobering. Here's the debt payment alone. Debt payment alone is $15,000. $15,000 for the year. That's money that could have stayed in our pockets, or we could have invested it or saved it, other than paying for debt. That includes, interest. Now, seeing the whole picture didn't discourage me. It motivates me, because now I know where the margin could be created, what needs to change in order to create that extra at the end of the month, every single month, to throw at the debt. And once the debt is gone, look at how much I stand to free up for the year. $15,000. When you have the whole picture, once the numbers are clear, you stop guessing. You stop budgeting based on hope, arbitrary numbers and the ideal budget. No, you start budgeting based on the truth, right? Next episode, I'll show you the changes we made and how we're gonna build the plan, how we built a plan rather for using these exact numbers, how we create margin out of it, how to attack the debt using the debt snowball, Dave Ramsey debt snowball method, and how it works step by step. We're going to go through all of that together. And let's start getting real, right? Look, if this resonates with you, if you see yourself in this journey, like, subscribe, and follow. And more importantly, rather, do the work, right? Look at the numbers, tell the truth, and let the truth lead you to freedom. Thank you for walking with me. I'll see you in episode 3 here on The Real.